You know that picture you have in your head of a small town? It's almost a myth, right? This perfect, safe little bubble where life is simple, the picket fences are white, and everybody knows everybody. But what if that idyllic image is just a carefully constructed lie?
Right? It's that classic idea, that Cheers theme song life, where you walk into the local diner and they've got your usual ready without you even having to ask. It's a world built on trust, where you might not even think about locking your doors at night, a world away from the anonymity of a big city.
But here's the flip side of that coin. When everyone knows your name, they also know your business. There's literally nowhere to hide. And that cozy little community, it can turn into a pressure cooker of secrets and judgment real fast. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and take a hard look at the sinister side of small-town life.
Okay, first up, we have a classic trope, the monster on the margins. I swear, every small town has one. It's the outsider, the recluse, that person living on the edge of town that everyone collectively decides is the local boogeyman. They become this convenient black hole for all the town's fears and anxieties. Let's talk about a guy named Old Bob from Medicine Bow, Wyoming. Growing up there, the story was that he was a crazed murderer who got away with killing a high school kid. Absolutely terrifying, right? Well, the truth? It was the complete opposite. Bob was a Vietnam vet, a hero who actually saved a child from that same high school kid. The town needed a villain to cover up its own dark secret, and Bob was the perfect, silent target.
So, can you imagine, after years of believing this guy is a monster, the narrator finally confronts him, and Bob's response? Man, it is just bone-chilling. He just looks at him and says, "I wondered how long it'd be before you showed up." He knew. He knew the town's lie was so powerful it would eventually bring someone right to his front door. He was basically a prisoner of their secret.
An outcast is one thing. That's a fear you can point to, something on the outside. But you know what's way more terrifying? When the monster isn't an outcast at all. When the danger isn't lurking on the outskirts, but is sitting right next to you at the diner, smiling and waving as you walk by.
Okay, so try to imagine this nightmare scenario. You witness an absolutely horrific crime, a man throwing a little boy down a well. You rush to the nearest town for help, and the entire town turns on you. That's exactly what happened to a woman in Iowa. The locals, the police, they all closed ranks. They told her she was crazy, that it was an optical illusion, and then basically threatened her until she left. All to protect one of their own.
But sometimes, the evil within doesn't hide behind a conspiracy of silence. Sometimes, it just explodes. In Windsor, North Carolina, a quiet Sunday evening at the local Below grocery store turned into an absolute bloodbath. A robbery that escalated into a methodical, unbelievably brutal massacre that just shattered the town's sense of peace forever.
And the most chilling detail? Just before the gunman opened fire, he said a prayer. God, forgive me for what I'm about to do. This wasn't some robbery that went sideways. No way. This was a premeditated act of pure violence that turned a beloved community spot into a house of horrors. And the killer? He just vanished.
But what if the monster isn't just a neighbor you kinda know? What if he's a trusted friend, someone you see every day? In the quiet, peaceful Amish community of Nickel Mines, a man walked into a one-room schoolhouse and took 10 little girls hostage. His name was Charlie Roberts, and to them, he was just their milkman.
I mean, look at this. Charlie Roberts was woven right into the fabric of this community. A local milk tank driver. He had a wife, 3 kids. He knew the families of the little girls he targeted. But behind that familiar, friendly face was a man who was just tormented by grief and consumed by this deep, dark rage he'd been hiding for years. He was the killer next door, hiding in plain sight.
So what happens after the unthinkable? I mean, how does a community even begin to heal from something so devastating? The way these towns respond in the aftermath can be just as revealing as the crimes themselves. It exposes the true heart of a place when it's been pushed to the absolute brink.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. Here we have 2 towns, 2 unbelievable tragedies, and 2 completely opposite responses. In Iowa, the community chose to protect its own, to bury a horrible truth with a conspiracy of silence. But in Nickel Mines, the Amish community, well, they chose a path that most of us can't even begin to wrap our heads around.
Instead of rage, instead of vengeance, they chose forgiveness. Radical forgiveness. They actually reached out to the killer's family, his wife and kids, and offered them comfort and support. Think about that. A bunch of them even went to his funeral. It's an act of grace so profound, it's almost impossible to comprehend. So, when you boil it all down, what are we really talking about here? What's the real source of this unique, terrifying brand of fear? It's not about being alone in the woods. It's not the fear of the unknown. It's actually the fear of the known.
This is what we can call small-town horror. And it's not really about isolation at all. It's about the perversion of trust. It's that stomach-dropping terror that comes from the realization that the people and the places you thought were the safest in the world can actually be the source of your greatest threat. It is the ultimate betrayal.
It's a betrayal of that core idea of community. We all want to believe it. And it really just leaves us all with one single haunting question. How well do you really know your neighbors?